council open and welcome all you councillors. The general manager and staff are all socially distant from me and each other as we meet today at the back of Berkshire. I also welcome any members of the public who may be watching today via live streaming. This council's historic April meeting, which was held remotely via audio visually, the New South Wales Government has issued relaxed public health orders. I will ask the General Manager to update council as to the current situation. Thanks, Ross.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Well, as the Mayor mentioned, New South Wales Government has relaxed the public health orders. So now, from this week, council staff to leave the home for the purpose of attending council meetings in person. While the option still remains open for councillors to attend participated meetings by audio visual link, we're reasonably practical and possible to do so. Berkshire Council staff today have decided to meet in person. On the basis of the advice of the National Local Government, councils must allow persons to attend meetings in the size of a meeting room which is sufficient to allow 4 square metres per person, and all those persons in today's meeting have got that. And today's meeting has been relocated in the council's chamber to this roomy facility at the back of Work Centre. In participating in today's face-to-face meeting, council and staff must ensure adequate physical distancing is maintained at all times, and we're trying to do that by the acquisition of these smaller tables, and it would appear there's a lot of work for him to make sure we can comply with that. Members of the public are excluded from today's meeting, given the requirements of the public health order. As the Mayor advised, live streaming is available to the community, and that satisfies the ability under Section 10 for members of the public to be able to attend. So, further to this, a public forum today will not be held. Council will advertise this fact. As an alternative to face-to-face presentations, members of the public who wish to address council during the period were invited to do so by putting a submission in writing. In regard, any submissions were submitted to myself by 8:30 a.m. this morning. In conjunction, sorry. And so no representations have been received. In conjunction with any agenda item today, we advise councillors if there was any contents of those representations to be received, as there was 0, that won't be applicable. Given we are meeting face to face today, we obviously, like we're also back to our normal meeting procedure. Gaining attentions to speak. There's no need for the orange card, which worked so successfully last time, and voting will be on a for and against basis, as opposed to voting by exception as per last month. So just to recap, we are back to look at our normal meeting procedure. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Ross. We now move on to today's agenda. I'll open the meeting with prayer, ladies and gentlemen. Lord, we thank you for giving us happiness and guiding us in the right path of peace and salvation. Thank you, God, for your blessings to us and our families, and for the strength you give us each day, and for the people around us who make life more meaningful. Lord, we thank you for hearing our prayers and keeping our communities healthy and protecting us through these very testing of times. Lord, we thank you and we praise thee. Amen. Remembrance, I have 2 people here, councillors, Mr Jack Wilson and Mr Don Egan. I've been around, I haven't heard of any others, so we'll have a minute silence for those 2 people, please. Thank you, councillor. I would also like to advise the land traditional owners for the land we are meeting on today. We pay our respects to its leaders, past, present and emerging. Today, we stand together side by side, united, in respect for land and oneself and for one another. Item 4, the declaration of the meeting. There is any interest declared the forms of which are meeting, councillors. We now move to item
We've got 2
5.
declarations, so anybody wants to at least make a declaration in the course of the meeting, they realise they've got interest, please just fill the format and in this.
We got anyone dialed in?
Martin's going in, but because of the, that's the point, because of the way it works, you only activate this video when you need to see.
Councillor? Who was it?
Councillor, now move to item 5 the Mayor's activity report. Of the COVID-19, there hasn't been a lot on, just a few things that we've done. Done a telephone hookup with TWEB, read the Berkshire activities, also about COVID-19. Had a meeting with the ABC TV about the South. You might have seen me at Never Week the other night, but that's all it was. I'd done a half an hour interview, and I think I was there for 4 seconds. Ross sprang up and all that, and we waited away anyway. Telecom with the Berkshire Council to read the Shire rates. COVID-19, the Western Area Health meetings updates on the COVID-19 on the 1st of the 5th, the 4th of the 5th, the 6th of the 5th, the 12th of the 5th, the 13th of the 5th, the 15th of the 5th, the 19th of the 5th. That was ongoing. Also had a JO meeting in regard to the stand-down rate for the air service. That's still ongoing. We will know more about that on this Wednesday. Our next meeting with that. And that's also about the operating costs of the 3 months period that is done for work. Can't update you anymore than I can after on Wednesday. And that's all I've done, Councillors. Any questions about what I've just brought there? So I'll move that they be accepted. Thank you. We now move to item 5. Oh, no, I had this in a new page you gave me there. I'm on to item 6.
It's not a stop number, this one. We'll read items.
I move to now minute that council. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Okay, sorry, yeah, I forgot. I don't know what their councillors. Additional late before Ross, I understand that there is a report that was left out in the business paper dealing with a policy on the payment of rates by those impacted by COVID-19.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. It's still with rates, given the fact that the next instalment's due on Friday. We try and get this policy which gives some relief to those persons impacted by COVID-19 an opportunity to pay their rates. So just looking at that motion has made it to matter of urgency. That policy will be brought forward later in the meeting.
I have a motion that the rate be put on the payment of rates be regarded as a matter of urgency and discussed at the council meeting. Councillor Dorrington, Councillor Stutzel. Any questions or comments for discussion? If not, a show of hands in favour of the motion. That is carried. Thank you, councillors. I apologise, yeah, Councillor Ross gave me a late paper and I stuck it in front of the other paper and the thing is, I apologise. Moving on to item 6, starring of items. Items have been starred for discussion in the agenda. I now invite requests for the starring of additional items.
Mr. Mayor, probably because they put that way in please, that item 12.3 should be starred in the Manager of Environmental Services report, and in the confidential section, the variations of the request of what I'm doing with the Charles Street Reservoir should be probably started as well. Number will be
22.1.
22.1.
Could I have a move and a second of that for the floor, please? Councillor Barton, Councillor Bartley, all those in favour? Andy?
Yeah.
All
Start
those against?
21.6, please.
21.6.
21.7.
Can I have a motion that the recommended detail and the unstarred items in the agenda of the ordinary meeting of the council till on Monday, the 25th of May 2020 be adopted? Save and accept those additional items that have been written today for discussion. Councillor Dorrington, second of these, Councillor Thompson. All those in favour? Carried, thank you. Carried. Item 7, confirmation of the minutes. Can I have a move and a second? Councillor Dorrington, Councillor Bartley. Any questions or comments or discussions? No. If not, a show of hands in favour of the motion. Hands please, councillors. That's carried. Any against? Motion is carried. Item agenda number 8, notice of motion. There are no notice of motions. Item 9, there are no decision motions. Moving on to item the business arising. On the move in a second for that, please. Councillor Rice, Councillor Barton. Any questions or comments, councillor? Councillor Ford?
Just a question, as in business advising, why that if the preschool lease hasn't been completed, is it being removed from business advising?
The lease is being completed, except to them. So it has been impacted.
And you feel that's appropriate time to remove it from the business advising?
In the trades, trying to restrict the number of things which were there, it probably gets suggested.
And I asked that question, restricting the number of things, but I prefer to be able to see what we haven't done than what we have enough not in the business advising.
The lease, that's all, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ford. Show of hands for that there. Don't have your mind. The motion is carried. Item 10, 2 camera event information to council. These 2 items are unstarred, so the recommendation will be adopted. There are no reports for item 11, engineering services department. In respect of item 12, the environmental services and development department, item 12.1, draft heritage strategy 2019 to 2021, item 12.2, classification and categorisation of Crown Reserve and item 12.3. Waiver of 2019 to 2022 shop inspection fees and charges. These matters were also unstarred and thus have previously been adopted.
The item 4.3 is now started. Councillor Rice has left the room because he declared interest. So I know that please come. Yeah.
I'm on the
Up to date.
Yeah.
Item 13, general manager.
Hang on.
Pretty much the item 4.3 is.
In your business pleasure. If you change it.
The manager of environmental services is just like to speak.
It's great.
Page 45, councillors.
Probably need a mover.
Yeah, move on.
Councillor Ford, second Councillor Barton. Thank you. Managing environmental services.
Yeah, so as we know, Birchmont Council is a category B council under the Retail Food Act. So we're just about to start conducting some food inspections. I did sit in on a teleconference or webinar with New South Wales Food Authority the other day and some other councils. And most councils are now, as we've seen with COVID-19, the effect it's had on food shop businesses are starting to waive their fees. So I put it to you that, that we waive the fees for food shop inspections this year.
Any debate on that, councillors? All those in favour that we move, you've understand that we waive the fee for the, I think that's well done, Jeremy. Thank you, councillor. Any against? Thank you.
Before you go. Let me get to that.
Just on page 47, just correct figure for funding received in round two for that wild dog. Funny figure, isn't it?
What is it, councillor Doran?
On page 47.
Yep.
That's the way that it's paid, the funding received in round two. Strange.
It is a strange figure, let's take the figure.
234,418.48. It's a 0.48.
Councillor Doran, you should remember it's a Conservative government.
It was very old, that's the figure which came out.
That's another one.
That's what said he was there.
Okay, that councillor Dorrington?
Pretty good form of currency.
Right, councillor, we'll move on. Item 13, the funding of the wild dog control. This item was unstarted, so the recommended date has previously been adopted. We don't know.
Yep.
Moving on to item 13.2, Office of Local Government, update on COVID-19 as it impacts on the local government. Can I have a move in a second of the 2-point recommendation contained in the report? Councillor Stutzel and Councillor Dwyton. And Councillor Ford, you had a question there earlier on.
Interest.
Have we got to 13.5?
No, we're going to make one too. Sorry.
That's right. I'm a library.
Sorry.
You're still.
Okay.
You're right there.
Yeah, I can't see you.
Say a second for that.
You're right.
This is going to. You don't need to do, you wish to talk on the report?
No, not really. I think that anybody who's been following the briefings which have been put out by the jury have seen that they're pretty comprehensible with, and I think it's provided a pretty clear indication of where we're going. It's almost a really vector for us.
Any questions from the floor, councillors? Anything about the COVID-19? We call them and told we're abided by it, we've come out pretty well at the end, or not at the end of it, but we're doing okay. But show of hands that doesn't be adopted and carried, councillors. So any against? Carried, thank you. Item number 13.3. Option to review the current provision of the 2020-2021 operational plan in relation to the proposed increase in rates. And have a motion and a seconder. That council adopts this 3-point recommendation as obtained with the report of the general manager. Councillor Barton, seconder please. Councillor Davis, thank you, Councillor Davis. General manager, you wish to talk at this matter?
Not really. It's just basically we had an obligation at a workshop to go through all your options and what we can do. And the COVID-19 rate relief policy will come up later in the meeting. And as will the confidential section, we'll find that the applications for rate relief will be discussed as well.
Councillors, any questions about the operational plan? Not going to have a show of hands that be adopted. Thank you. Any against? Thank you. Item 13.4, emergency services levy 2020-2021. Can I have a motion that the council adopts the 3-point recommendation as contained within the report of the general manager? Councillor Cole, Councillor Barton, thank you. General manager, do you wish to talk about this?
Just briefly to say that the legislative levy has jumped quite considerably. I think one of our levies has jumped up around 47%, 42.7%, sorry. Last in 2018-19, the government gave the council the equivalent rebate for the due to the late notice announcing it. And this year, due to COVID-19, the government's going to reimburse councils for the increase. What will happen, we'll pay in the first instance, and they will then reimburse us by a grant. I suppose what we're concerned about is the increase going forward. LG New South Wales have been very strong in lobbying. Probably led to some of the money being rebated for councils this year. But I think we've got to remember this going forward. We're going to have another significant impact on the ongoing budgets. While no council or councillor would begrudge the money going to those persons who have contracted cancer or other diseases in the role of volunteer fire service officer or other emergency services, certainly we think that the money was probably better placed from the state government. So that's basically where we are, Mr. Chairman.
Councillors, any questions? Show of hands, all that recommendation be accepted. Thank you. Thank you, councillor. Any against? Thank you. Item 13.5. Yeah. Can I have a motion that council adopts the recommendations as contained within the report of the general manager? Councillor Thompson and Councillor Dorrington. General manager, would you like to talk?
Look, just a bit of an update where we are. Obviously, things are changing. The big things, I suppose, are the sporting ovals are still closed, halls are still closed. Anywhere there's likely to be a increase in numbers. We're doing some modifications to the front office. Hopefully that's going to be done, work was going to be done today, but the things haven't arrived, so we'll probably defer the reopening that till probably later in the week until when our equipment arrives. There's one of the big things I suppose everybody's asking about is the opening of the Macquarie Theatre, utilisation of the Jandra, and also things like the Crosley. We're just trying to ascertain how we can do that. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure and things are changing at a pretty rapid rate. We've gone from 10 people in a public space to 30 and to 50 come Monday. So we're just working to make sure we've got that in relation to, say, for example, the Jandra, the manager of corporate services, looking to ensure we will place that. The boat's still in dry dock. We're still going to look at some negotiations with the captain. So hopefully, when things are ready to roll, we'll be well positioned. There's a few things, as I said in that list, which are some of the things that have stayed the same. But as things change now, our circumstances change, we try to adjust our use of our facilities accordingly.
Councillor Sutcliffe and then Councillor Cole.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. The Crosley engines sort of in parts at the moment. Is that going to fix soon?
Oh, we won't be.
Yes, so it's had a major breakdown. Don Burns will be back up in the next couple of weeks to be putting that back together.
And all Councillor Sutcliffe.
That'll be before the first of June.
No,
When all the tourists come. All right, okay.
What I was just noticing that all council reserves remain closed for camping. On the 1st of June, New South Wales government's allowing visitation in any region, so holidays, recreation. I'm just wondering why we keep our reserves closed. I guess that means like the fishing reserve.
We don't always allow keeping on reserves as general basis anyway, because that's facilities there.
Well, there is camping, Nice bend is camping and fishing reserve, have to call the time,
They're
but
doing it legally.
Huh?
They're doing it legally. One of our reserves are categorised to camp.
Really?
okay.
Any further questions, councillors? Councillor Ford?
In relation to all of the activity business that we're going to open some stuff on the 1st of June. I mean, I understand that the vote's in dry dock at the moment, but have a bit of time to get that. Is there a reason? Oh, I get well there. Obviously, the vote's in dry dock. Is there any, where we're going for? Yeah, I think I probably just want to.
Councillor Ford, it's just you said, can I get going?
Yeah.
Just arrange you on that.
The Chandler will be out of dry dock this week. And it will be another couple of weeks until we have it up and operating. For the fact that at the moment, we don't know how last week was 10 people, maybe next week's 30 people, have to determine how we're going to space people on the Jandra. And the problem with that is it's like we're getting quite short notice in regards to attracting a captain. So I have a captain on standby, but I do have to give him 4 weeks notice because he's already working in another role that he needs to get out of before he can come here. So, yeah, it's all over it basically, but it's just difficult when they keep changing that, you know, we're going to change the number of people in certain areas. As for the Back-of-Burg is ready to open. As at the our new office, we're determining how we're going to do that. We may do that with drive-bys. We're not sure yet. The new facility or the upgrade to the facility won't be finished until the 31st of July. So we'll be still working out of the dollar as such. And the staff there have put in place measures as to how how many people are going to be able to go through the centre. Of course, that's going to change week by week because at the moment it was 10. Next week it's probably going to be more. So that's stuff that we will need to manage. Also looking at doing some online ticketing rather than having to do it in person. So there's lots of things happening in that space. And it's changing first.
Looking like things like buses, for example, actually, drop it 2 hours to get out, if people want to go in and just make sure we can regulate it.
I'm sure there wouldn't be many buses.
Well, I appreciate, I would use that as an example, but obviously with the, one would hope that with the closure to on the interstate travel and also overseas travel, that the tourist season, places like that, hopefully we'll receive with once when people get used to travelling. Hopefully we'll be well positioned to take advantage of that. Conscious of that.
There have been a number of operators visit in the last couple of weeks in regards to bringing tours to the region because they can't go to other places. So I guess it determines how many they can put on their bus.
I think that's where Councillor Cole's question of council stuff will come from as well. I mean, I realise it's moving quickly, but I think we have to be somewhere ready to go. We've had quite a bit of time to do some of these things, and if it wasn't for COVID-19, the exhibition centre would still be operating. So
Definitely.
would the boat be operating by now if it wasn't for COVID-19?
Yes. Once the river went down, we would have been operating, and I had that all prepared. We were ready for that for Easter.
Yeah.
But just with COVID. So the other thing, so the Back-of-Burg will be open, and I'm guessing it's going to be the 1st of June. Like we're ready to go. But it's just those other ones. And the Crosley is a more major issue. So the Crosley probably would have been opening because Don Burns is the guy that rebuilds those motors. So, I have to work with Don, who is an elderly gentleman. And we do have a young mechanic here is showing a lot of interest in that. And I'm trying to work with him to bring him up with it. But I'm relying on Don to get that. And there was a significant, and I'm not a mechanic, but there was a significant breakdown that he had to rebuild some part of it.
As you push for the everyone's got different rules like Queensland now. They're talking about locking their borders. Last night, it was to September, perhaps. And all that sort of bits and pieces will rely on some of the people who normally travel through.
Which is again why we need to be ready.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
Out
that.
of the state, we need to be, like, I have people options for people that want to start
I
traveling.
don't know, there's so many consequences of that, and make sure we are.
And I think the other thing is the manager of tourism has been working very closely with the other parties. So Rosehill will be Mount Oxley,
Yeah.
making sure that there is activities for people when they arrive and there's something for them to do.
Thank you.
Any further questions, councillors? Just a couple of things that I like that there. Probably something that the manager corporate service board up there. With our mechanics that does the cost, ended up and they only hit on that he is getting older, so we probably need to look at getting someone else in there. And that's probably a very important matter up there. Because of the change it does play down. And the other thing was, you said about the officers down there, when's the stuff going to arrive? I was unaware it was going to turn up last week.
We were under the same impression. It was supposed to be here on Saturday. It's installed today. It hasn't arrived. We're in the throes of chasing up. We're in the meeting. Hopefully, we'll be able to get the indication where it's at, where it is.
So is the RTA open? So we just shut all together. Yeah, right.
Want to take on the 50 stuff when they get away?
10 minutes.
Yes, Councillor. Who have I got there?
It's just
Managing Environmental Services.
Yeah, about 10 minutes to get the street on, so it's in there in transit. Hopefully, I need to
Councillor, I guess we're all keen to get ourselves up and running again, and I think you've made the point here today that we need to be on the front foot to have all this. I hope we all take that on board today. We need to be aware that people will want to travel once it's COVID-19 restrictions, so we need to be prepared. So any further questions, councillors? So all in favour of that there, can I have a show of hands, please? Thank you. Any against? I'll just wait to councillor Davis comes back in.
We'll be doing better business next.
Right, councillors, item 13.6, transfer of land to the Wyndham Group, Darling Street, Bourke. Can I have a motion that council adopts the 4-point recommendations as contained within the report of the acting manager of infrastructure and operations? Councillor Darling, Councillor Barton, thank you. Acting manager, do you wish to talk in this report?
Thanks, Mr Mayor and councillors. Yes, council previously resolved to transfer land at 17 to 29 Darling Street to the Wyndham Group. That's the site of Rivergum Lodge. To undertake this transfer, it's necessary for the land to be classified operational as per the Local Government Act. Unfortunately, we've been unable to find where such a classification has occurred. Accordingly, council will need to classify the land as operational. That will require an amending local environmental plan to be undertaken, and that's a 12 to 18-month process. In the meantime, the Wyndham Group, they're keen to expend some money down there and lodge a development application. So to give them a level of certainty, I've had discussions with them, and they're in agreement that we do a deed for land acquisition as per the resolution, and they're happy to proceed on that matter. So certainly happy to take questions, Mr Mayor, councillors.
Councillors, any questions for our acting manager, Mr Riley? Councillor Stuttle?
I just thought we recently did something like change something to community to whatever the other one is. Without having to change the LEP.
It leads into classified operational or community. Back when 1993 when it happened, when we purchased this plot of land wasn't classified as operational, so we had to be reversed as to community land. the community plan can't be sold, leased or other things. The only way around it is to get it reclassified by an LEP.
Yeah, but I thought we did it without doing it. That's how.
The only one we did the preschool, we put a lease in, which had advertised, and we put a plan of management in place.
We did two last
Yeah,
year.
Yeah, well, we've done-
That's
we've done-
within the 3
Councillor,
months.
please, one at a time, let's get please.
So the rules are when you buy a land, before you buy it, or inside 3 months, you've got to classify an operational community. And we've done that with two blocks of land at last meeting. And we did that one previously for a park in Mitchell Street. And so all these funds operational, and we actually missed one, as well. So it's one of those things which you try and put in the steps for, on the purchase to make sure you don't miss it, because as Mr. Riley said, it's a long drawn out process and you want to do it. So, and there is another couple, and I think Mark and Dwayne had some conversations, so we'll look at other blocks of land which should be classified as operational, and when we do the LEP, get them done at the same time.
Manager Ryan, like I said, if you'd like to add anything to that?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any further questions, Councillor Ford, sorry?
So in, no drama with this particular motion, but in relation to the operational land, the land that we, a while ago, said we would give to the A, not give, that would have to have the same process occur, wouldn't it, to the ANS? We spoke about that particular parcel of land down there. If they were to take that forward, would that need to happen as well? No,
It's operation.
it's already operational. Okay, thank you.
No further questions, councillors? All those in favour? Well, thank you. Carried, any against? Thank you, councillors. Moving on to item 14, the reports from the Corporate Services Department, item 14.1, bank reconciliation and statement of bank balance. Can I remove the seconder? Councillor Dorrington, Councillor Cole. Manager Corporate Service, you'd like to talk on that? Thank you. Any questions, Councillor? Councillor Stuffle?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I know it's on page 2, but we're going to, what are estimated investment revenue at 2%, but we're not getting 2% anyway, so we need to make an adjustment there or something.
Comment on that, Naomi?
That was what we averaged over the year. We estimated that we could get a return of 2%, not knowing what interest rates were going to do in July last year.
Any further questions, councillors? Councillor Stuffle again.
But now we're down to 1.04, 1.6, are we going to get that return?
I think we've averaged better than that because we're about $100,000 in front in investment interest for this year. So we've averaged more than the 2%, the investments that we've held for the period.
Further questions, councillors? Show of hands, all those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Any against? Carried. Thank you, councillors. Item 14.2, investment report. Can I have a motion, moving the seconder? Councillor Dorrington, Councillor Thompson. Manager Corporate Service, would like to speak on anything? Any questions, councillors? Those in favour? Carried, thank you. Any against? Carried, thank you. Item 14.3, rating scenario. Can I have a motion and move the second of the adopt the 2-point recommendation as contained within the report of the Manager of Corporate Service. Councillor Davis and Councillor Bartley. Manager of Corporate Service, would you like to speak on anything?
Councillors, this is in the business paper for your information. It's a report very similar to that was tabled at the workshop, just for information to advise the impact of not taking up 2.6% and ways around that we may be able to assist people in our community that are suffering from COVID-19 due to financial strength. So it's just in a report to be noted, but I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions, councillors? Councillor Dorrington?
The motion is only to note the information in this report, but we're not going to make a decision on this at this stage. As to, will we go ahead with the full 2.6%?
The general manager had a report previously that stated the 2.6%, and then the making of the rates incorporates the 2.6% in the next report, which is the delivery and operational plan.
But we would only need a motion if we weren't going ahead with the 2.6%.
When we discuss the operational plan and delivery plan, that's the time we can ask. So based on what we're saying, our recommendations, we stick with 2.6 as advertised, but the opportunities now, when the next item is to discuss that at that time.
If we were going to discuss anything else now, I would, the policy, general manager, would we put the policy up after this report?
Yeah, it's policies that we can finish what we're doing. To the policy, it's irrespective of whether we increase or don't increase, it's going to be some people are going to be impacted, so the policy would be in place irrespective.
Further questions, councillors?
I must make the point, when I looked at this, it's all a lot to consider, but getting down to the grassroots and looking at the biggest contributing sector, being the rural sector of our rating income, and particularly looking at the total average rate or charge in each of those scenarios, the difference is so very small. I can't see a defence for not going ahead with 2.6%.
Thank you, councillor Dorrington. So, councillors, all those in favour? Carried, thank you. Any against? Thank you, councillors. Moving on to item 14.4, delivery programs for the 2017-2021 operational plan. Included in the report of the manager of corporate services are a series of recommendations, which I will invite two separate motions on. Firstly, can I please have a motion to adopt the recommendation of the manager of corporate services in respect of the delivery plan and operational plan as follows? That council adopts the delivery program 2017-2021 and the operational plan 2020 to 2021 as exhibited, subject to the changes of the contributions payable to the emergency services contribution and the reallocation of funds at the library. Item 2, that council adopts the plan replacement schedule as presented in the delivery program 2017-2021 and the operational plan 2020-2021. So do you want to motion just for those first or the whole form?
No, this all.
Right. And the third one is that council adopts the loan schedule as presented in the delivery program 2017-2021 and the operational plan 2020-2021, including the total proposed borrowings of $2,138,000, with the funds representing $1,518,000 for upgrades to the Burke War Memorial Pool and $620,000 for the plant replacement program. Item 4, that authority be given to affix the common set of council to all relevant documents in relation to the 2019-2020 loan schedule.
2020-21.
So just, I'll redo that in relation to the 2020-2021. That's a misprint there, will be on the councillors. Can I have a move and a seconder for that, please? Councillor Barty and Councillor Stutsel. Ross or Leone, would you like to comment anything on that?
We've got, before we consider, we've got to look at any submissions which are being received. We did get two submissions. One was from National Farmers and the other one was Australian Hotel Association. While they also included the impact of COVID-19, it was just a general advice asked for things to be considered. I think one of the things the National Farmers did bring up, which is worthy of note, I think the Manager of Corporate Services has mentioned a few times, while we're putting up the rates by 2.6%, there'll be winners and losers, for a better term, because we've got the evaluations coming in. The 2.6 only relates to the bucket of money we get, and the evaluations which have been determined will determine how the whole market is portioned. And there's some pockets of land within the Shire have gone up, and others say the same, and some have got, where some will have gone down. And we're talking in comparison. So we've considered the submissions which have come in, which is one of our requirements. Other than that, I've got no further comment. The fact that it has been advertised.
And the board terms?
Yeah, so just for council's information, it was advertised for the period that was required. And I've made two adjustments to the delivery program itself, and that's detailed the structure. These adjustments are a result of change to allocation of duties, a result of the change in title to position of manager of community engagement. So there's a couple of changes there. And the proposed land sale report, 19 Adelaide Street, GT was incorrectly noted in there, and 2 Tudor Street needed to have Berg at the end of the title, just so that it was clear, so we had another Tudor Street somewhere. The amendments to the operational plan, the emergency services contribution, there was an estimated adjustment there because of the state government going to pick up the additional cost. The estimated adjustment is $33,450. What I've done with that is actually put that into a COVID account, just to use it to offset anything that may come along, and that could be an example of some of the requests we received today. So just so we've got a little bit of a buffer there, because there's not much of a buffer at all. And the library services. So the library services have come, manager has made up a petition to say that the local or the electronic works is going extremely well, especially since the library's been closed. And so their additional costs are estimated to be $3,220. I've offset that with a reduction in capital budget, so to reduce their book budget back down. The financial implications, there was no significant financial implications involved in the preparation of the delivery program. The only other one that I haven't noted there, but I will talk about now, is the food shop inspections for next year. They have been removed as well, but if council don't agree with that, we'll put them back in. The food shop inspections for next year are estimated to be $4,820. So that is all the comments that I have. I'm happy to take any questions in regards to the budget.
Any questions, councillors? No further questions, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Carried, thank you. Anyone against? Carried, thank you, councillors.
This is the second part of the resolution. I'm making it the right.
What do you want me to read out, Brandy? All of that there, yeah, that one, only that one, yeah. Moving on to the making of rates and charges component of the report, which must be made by resolution of council pursuant of section 533, 534, 535, 537 and 543 of the Local Government Act 1993. I invite a motion that the 2020-2021 council make and levy the various rates and charges at the amounts as detailed in the report of the Manager of Corporate Services as follows. Ordinary rates 2020-2021, user rates, annual charges, water, sewage and urban drainage 2020-2021. C, annual domestic waste management service and trade waste garbage charges 2020-2021. D, interest on overdue rates and charges 2020-2021. And E, fees and charges for 2020-2021.
Move a second, Councillor Torrington, Councillor Stutzel.
Russell Leone, would you like to talk on any of that? We're going to, I'd like to just translate all the stuff, to put the progress of the plans together. With the corporate services that's led that. We've done the work, council had a couple of workshops, but we've also went to the corporate service committee, so there's been a process, everybody's been, understands the process, and it's had it's a presentation, and the rates now are reflective of what's in that plan.
Any questions, councillors? Councillor Ford?
Just in terms of charges, and I'm aware that a lot of them we have to keep. Cost recovery. What happens in a population such as ours where the population's falling? Now, it probably doesn't affect the number of rateable lots. I'm not really sure. That's one of my questions. Because obviously as the population falls, those costs have to be attributed over less people
So a rate and a charge is attached to the land.
to the land. So the land is still there. So
Yeah, so the rate and the charge.
So as we have people not living in the land, right, we basically take up that cost in ourselves.
If they own it, if you use the, if they own the land, someone owns it, but they pay rates. One of the problems we've got with this, there's parts of the land which people don't pay rates on, and that's why we have the section 713s, 713 style unpaid rates, and that's when we actually, if you like, we don't take any money, we've got to make a provision to write off later on. It's an unfortunate situation, but while it's in ownership, we know who the owners are, we still remains local.
So the only one put a further of that. So do we put rates, do we put the costs to ourselves as well? When that land becomes not owned by anyone,
Land is not, it's always got an owner.
it's always got
So there's always an owner to that land. And that we have land that is in, owned by a number of deceased people because it's never been transferred. So we have a number of those parcels, which of course we provide a provision for. So we look at every rate assessment before the end of the financial year, and we look at who we think is unable to pay. Of course, if somebody's a deceased estate, we're not going to get money from that. So we provide a provision for that. So every parcel of land has the rates and charges attached to it. They will all pay water charges, a sewer charge, and a garbage charge, as long as they're within a certain area of under the Act. So, and as the General Manager said, that we do hold those sales for land that hasn't been paid or rates that haven't been paid, but it's they're not necessarily successful because a lot of our land is a liability. But that is one reason why council would not we don't take land handed back. We have a number of calls that have come in and people say we don't want this anymore. Or council can't take it back because we can't afford to take it back.
because we would then have to pay our share of those rates and charges.
Yes. And it's not noted as income on through the financials.
No, thank you.
Through this, one of the questions you might consider is in relation to, like, say, garbage charge, you have a decreasing population, your fixed cost to run it. It may mean you might find that some of the charges may go up. At the moment, we've been fortunate the way it's been run, that the charges have stayed the same. But you have a dramatic drop in population and people, the garbage service, you might find that the cost recovery should be a little bit more difficult in that area as well.
Well, that's probably where my question
The
lies.
garbage is attached to the land.
Yeah, that's it. So the garbage is attached to the land, just to
Garbage
make
is attached to the land.
it hasn't made a difference.
It's just something we have like multiple services.
That's okay.
Madam, Marlo, you want to call on that?
Yeah, through Ms. Mayor and Mr. and Councillor Fords, we've just undertaken a big review of our garbage rates and charges, as we were lucky enough to keep the same, but we've dropped the bar for our garbage collection issue through an internal audit to cover that I suppose the loss of the amount of bins around where people are dropping off the bins. So we're now on a 4-day collection instead of 5, and that was done through an internal audit to look at cost savings.
Thank you.
Is that all, councillor Foley?
Yeah, so.
Any further questions, councillors? All those in favour of that? Go ahead, please. Carried, thank you. Any against? Carried, thank you, councillor. Moving now to item 14.5, quarterly budget review statement. Can I have a motion that council adopt the 2-point recommendation as contained within the report of the manager of corporate services, Councillor Wellington, Councillor Cole, thank you. Ross Leone, would you like to talk on anything there?
Refer to the only start on this.
Thank you, General Manager. So before you've got the quarterly budget review, there's a lot of work done in the budget review, especially due to COVID, and identifying any additional costs, savings, reduction in services. And I think the budget review reflects where we expect to be as at the 30th of June. So the matters of particular note with the water supply and adjustments been made for reduction in water usage charges for the year. So our water usage charge, we expected to get an additional $200,000. And I guess it's due to industry not operating and reduction in population, the potable water usage has reduced considerably. With the onset of COVID-19, staff increased the stock of chlorine, soda ash, ultron, whatever that is, due to expected shortages of supply. These stocks will last into 2021, so there'll be a savings there for next year. And our council's application for flood damage in 2019 was unsuccessful, which meant that the cost of $263,000 was transferred from that cost to the Rural Local Roads Program. We have had an increase in plant hire income due to the amount of work that we've been undertaking, both on the Wanari and MR405 and MR404. And so we've been able to offset that extra cost with that additional income from plant hire. Disappointing that the flood damage in November 19 didn't get funded, but we weren't declared a natural disaster. And what happens now with the changes to legislation, we have to go out and undertake the work. We have to basically have all of our roads mapped, identify where any areas are prior to even a flood or a rain event coming through. And our guys have been doing quite well at that. We could provide all of the information, but then we have to undertake the works and then put the claim in. So it's very different to how it used to be prior to the drought. So back in 2009, 2010, 2012, when we had significant rain events, we received a lot of flood money at that time. So they're the major contributing factors. You will see that at the back of the work that there's a major loss of income, but you'll also see that there's major cuts to salaries and other activities such as the Easter Festival, and a number of other items. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions, councillors? Questions? All those in favour? Okay, thank you. Any against? Thank you. Item 15, there are no reports in respect to item community engagement, tourism events. The delegates and councillors reports about that arts. The item is unstarted, thus has been adopted. So we move to item 19. Policies, rates, financial assistance policy. This is a matter which was deemed to be a matter of urgency. have a motion that the council adopt the policy of the COVID-19 rate financial assistance policy. They're going to second it, please. Councillor Barton, Councillor Stutzel, Russell Leone. Any other thoughts on that?
I'll start, look, with COVID-19, you go back 2 months, when we last had this, in this room, there was certainly there was uncertain times, and I know things were something on the improve. But what has happened in various areas, I was listening to talk to a couple of other councils in relation to what's happened on their particular budget space, but we've got a big centres and places where a lot of people come through rely on income, places who run big airports have suffered a lot of downturn, a lot of income. What we'll find, we anticipate finding some people who have lost their jobs or otherwise away from COVID-19. The government has encouraged the councils to put in a policy which kind of basically allows people to defer rates interest rate under certain conditions, and our policy tries to address those conditions. The others been working on this one as well. We've had a review of it. The only thing that you want to add to it?
I guess for council's information, the impact on this policy would be cash flows. If we have a number of organisations or people within our community taking up this policy, it will impact, because we would expect to be getting payments on Friday. We expect to be getting payments 31st of August and the 30th of November. That we're saying now we're not going to charge interest. We're happy to work with you with a plan to alleviate the pain of the rating with COVID. But we're okay, we can manage that. But I just wanted to give council a heads up. The finance team will make sure that we have funds available to manage that cash flow situation.
Any questions, councillors? That's a platform.
Yeah, just the eligibility, yeah. There's a lot of people not going to, you might be doing a bit tough, but not going to get caught into that.
That's fine. There's a hardship policy that council already has, and they can apply under that.
Through Mr. Mayor, the COVID policy is just a bit easier to process. We, as I said, we've had some discussions with this. With a lot of people, a lot of the land, like we're a major land owner ourselves. There's a lot of public housing which we still which anticipate getting paid. This is the idea is that people, say husband and wife, they sort of both lost their jobs as a direct result of COVID-19. We give them some short-term relief, they're getting the cash flow.
Any further questions, councillors? I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carry. Any against? Thank you, councillors. Item 20, printed of correspondence. There is no items included. In respect of the various items in item 21 being the activity report.
Yeah.
Council Ford only started on confidential vision. Sure.
21.6 and 21.7.
And I think in terms of 21.6, there is an event, but I think most of the events in relation to when we would go and terms of functions that we've done forward. I've said nothing in there in relation to opening, so I just wanted what we were doing after that, but that's fine, we got that one. In relation to community engagement, we're going to be out there selling, or not selling our policy without first these people in terms of, he's not talking probably business for it, but are we informing them that we have got some rates?
Definitely.
We've got a bit of that sort of stuff going on. And
Over the day, I've asked community engagement to be around people and explain what's around, giving access to the Regional Level Australia website, which details what's available. We had a seminar, webinar.
did we get uptake on that?
Yeah, there was 30 people took part in it.
Yeah, that's excellent.
And we, it was organised by I asked for it on Sunday afternoon, and on the Thursday it was on, and really it definitely ran the same thing to other councils as well. There was a follow-up on the other day, there's a survey for the businesses, and I haven't got the results, I will get those to circulate them. Actually, the numbers of people who lost their job in the GBK, it's surprising, actually, some people think that it wasn't widespread, but the numbers, it's shocked me anyway. So,
Yeah, I know that's why where my question lies with that. I just want to make sure we're supporting our business community as much as we can, explaining what we're trying to do to them as well, you know. Yeah, I've mentioned before, I don't know that a lot of people outside of the business community have been overly affected. But yeah, I think we need to really show a consolidated effort to keep them informed and to assist them in any way that we can.
Mr. Mayor, just one more message, to make a point, because what's happened during the process, for example, they had a massive increase. It's like the people stop buying food, etc. Now it's kind of come back a bit. What's going to happen up in the next financial year is when some people might.
Yeah, just going forward, so their businesses are aware with their business.
And that's what we're trying to do. That's one of the reasons policy in place. It's only probably a small thing, but it's money they don't pay us for short term. We put back into the stock in the shop.
Thank you.
Councillor Davis?
Just a quick question, when things do start up here again, is there any talk about someone doing this show?
Yes, we have somebody that's very prepared, and we'll start the show.
When will let know or?
Not at the current time.
Right, okay, that's fine. No, that's all.
There's a lot of work, especially management corporate services, there's a lot of work going on to make sure we are prepared. But again, it's when you've got to give people standing down, they're going to most notice, but it's not, people just aren't unavailable, but certainly I think that generally all the tourist industry has done very, very tough the last 2 months. What you're hearing about people saying they don't have holidays, not going out to sea, not going in the state, hopefully that things might turn around.
You've had a question, Councillor? I need a move and a second of their Councillor. Or do you want to move that to tourism and community engagement one? Do you want to move that, Councillor?
Happy to move both of those.
Thank you. And Councillor Stutton, you seconding that? All those in favour? Thank you. Before we press a motion that we go into closed session, Councillor Ross, can you please advise if any representations have been received as to whether the meeting should be closed for the consideration of the 4 matters as identified as confidential in the agenda?
I noticed there's been no representations.
So, can I just ask, I have to get the live stream taken off. Are we going to do it before?
I'm going to ask that question now. Councillor, 26 minutes past 10. Yes, want to break for we'll break for government.
Mr. Mayor, the people from the preschool, we're going to dial in at 10:30. So if you want the opportunity to talk to them, or they ring them and ask if they're going to put back 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think yeah. What do you want to do, councillors? We have arranged for them to ring in at 10:30.
Just ring them now. Yeah, we've made the arrangement for 10:30.
I'll ring them.
So do I get?
No.
So you're going to turn it off?
Yeah, turn it off.
Yes, yeah, total. We don't have to turn up.
If you can let us know, maybe later.
Yeah.